I think that having a mixed race category on the census or anything would be a good thing, because I hate when I have to fill out something and it's just check one or the other, when you have to pick one, because I can't pick one. I'm not just one thing. And I feel really, in a way, discriminated against, because it's like people aren't just one thing or the other anymore, and I feel like I'm ignoring one side of me if I choose one or the other. And how am I supposed to choose one or the other when I'm split down the middle, half and half? And I think people need to be more aware, especially in 2008, that there's more of a melting pot of people out there, and people aren't just one or the other anymore. And it needs to be something that's brought to the attention to the United States and the world, because I think just having one or the other to check is being really closed-minded.
In terms of mixed race on the census, I would definitely have to say, it's good to have it on there because people want to identify with that. It depends if you just check off mixed race, or if the option of filling something in is there, or some people prefer to identify with just like Mexican American or Latino or Hispanic, or it gets confusing because it's like you have these multiple identities. So to say, the mixed race option is a good option, I think, to have on there, to a degree, I guess.
I think for that, for the census, I think they all also I seen that they had where you could check what all that applied to you, and I think with that, I usually check African American, and sometimes I check Native American. But I don't know, based on the application, and for census I might check both. But I think it's up to the person, whether they want to check the mixed race, or if they still offer the African American or white or all the other ethnic groups or races. Then a person could check it how they want to check it, based on what they associate with more. So that's what I think.
So actually it's funny that you asked me that, because when I was little I used to have the hardest time, well, what am I going to check if there's only one box? Because to me, I've never, except for one time in my life, thought of myself as only one thing. So I always, if there's an other, I check that, or if I can check more than one box, I do. And I think it is important because, for some cases they do it to see, representational data and all that, and for certain scholarships and all that, to the people who have been historically disadvantaged. To me, that makes sense. But I think it's better to have the option to check too.
I think it's a step in the right direction that the census put a mixed race category on the application. I definitely have always had problems with the check one box thing, and have always disobeyed that rule and checked more than one box. I think if people look at it, they'll erase one of the ones that they think I don't fit into. But I've also had times where I have written in other and written in human as my race, and people I can see get very aggravated with that. I guess that's my form of rebellion against the whole identify yourself for my comfort level thing, which is what I think it is. It's we need to identify you so we know what to call you. It's not about your comfort level, it's about our comfort level. So I think it is a step in the right direction that there's a mixed race category, and that's what I would check. But usually when I check boxes and there's not an other or a mixed race, I check white and Native American and African or African American. And then people are like, well, Egypt isn't really African. And I'm like, that's interesting. It's a country in Africa, so I don't know how that argument really plays out, but I just don't, I come from the whole school of theory that race is a constructed concept, so I don't think that anybody should be forced to identify racially in any way.
I don't know of any of those groups. I mean, you talk about that sorority, but I also think that it's more of a cultural thing than actually a racial thing. I don't know. I mean, I guess the possibility exists for there to be one on campus. I think maybe the people just don't realize that they can form a group over something like that, or realistically, like if you are talking about those issues, you're talking about them with your friends already. So if you need a group like that, I'm not sure, but I don't see a problem with having one. And I think there definitely could be one. The resources exist.
There aren't any multiracial or biracial groups on campus right now. If there were, I don't know if I would join. I'd probably, go meet some people. But I don't really feel like a strong need to do that. I've always, I've always called myself biracial. Never really super identified with with any other biracial people in particular. I never really had the biracial friends that I had in high school were all black to my type of radar as culturally black. So I never really had the strong desire to find other biracial or multiracial people, but I definitely think that if people wanted to have something like that, then definitely it should make it happen, and I would support it. I just myself don't have any huge desire to do that, but I definitely help support the effort if people wanted to do that, because I do know there are. I do have one friend in particular that I always felt. I always identify a little bit more with black people, but she always felt out of place all the time. Never really felt like she fit in anywhere. And I think that there are a lot of people like that. And there are people like me. There are also people who think that fit in a lot with other races. But I'd say definitely that would be a really cool thing to do.
What sticks out in my mind was for a multicultural would be MK, Multiracial Academic Excellence Program. Even that, I mean, it's not like multiracial, but if you go into the building, there's rooms, if you're Latino, if you're African, if you're, whatever it may be. So, I mean, I guess it's a venue where different cultures and stuff come together, but interaction may not be as genuine as a multicultural excellence program would aim to be. I know there are some other student organizations. Not really sure how they operate. I'm not part of them. I guess what I do is Al Medina Cultural Center and Islamic Cultural Center. I mean, it's people from all different races, ethnicities from all around the world, from the U.S., whatnot. They do. I mean, everyone comes together, and it's a very. Everyone talks about, where you're from, nationality. It's like one of the first questions you get asked. So everyone's constantly reminded about, I'm from here, I'm from here, I'm from here.
I don't know of any groups on campus that are for biracial or multiracial people. The only ones that I'm aware of are for, the main races out there. And I feel that there should be groups out there for biracial or multiracial people, because there's a lot of people out there that are identified like that, and I think by not having groups like that you are discriminating against them, and it's just not fair to them. And I feel college is a time where you can explore your different races and your different backgrounds and meet people that are like you and that can maybe share stories, about growing up, and you can just relate to them, and maybe it'll make things from your past or what you're dealing with presently easier for you. So I think having those groups for people are a very important thing, and you really need to have them.